Alright, so what we got today, we're going to be doing some LEDs for our controller ports on our original Xbox. I do already have one finished here, so what you will need, obviously some wire here. I just used some Ethernet cable wire, bunch of broken ends. I had a ton of them, so I just decided to splice them up and use them. I'm using a 5mm 3 to 5 volt LED and a 470 ohm resistor. So what you will need: a little pair of wire cutters, a little flathead screwdriver, a lighter, a soldering iron which is plugged in over there, and a hot glue gun which is plugged in over there. The hot glue gun for when we go to set the LEDs in there. Anyways, oh, and also the lighter for the heat shrink here. You don't need the lighter and heat shrink. You can use electric tape if you want. I prefer to use heat shrink. So, identifying your LED, there's two ways of doing it. Long leg is the positive side. I don't know if you can see that. Oh yeah, you can. Long leg is the positive side. If you look inside the LED bulb, the smaller side will be the positive side. Can't really see it, but so anyways, we are going to separate the positive side away from the negative. Now what we want to go ahead and do, and pick it up, is get the resistor on there on the positive side as close to the top as you can, because the shorter the possible here, or the shorter the better here. So now we have that on there. I'm just going to go ahead and do it all at once. We have that. We're going to go ahead now and attach the blue wire to the resistor. And now the green wire to the negative side. And that is what you are left with. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of flatten that all down there. Grab a little bit of flux. And that negative is really close to the positive, so I'm just going to pull it down a little bit there. Alright. So now all we need is a piece of solder and our soldering iron. So I'm going to go ahead and start heating up the wire first. Now give me 1 second here. So now we move on to the next. I'm going to turn it just a little bit here. That resistor is a little bit loose. Just gonna fix it real quick. think we're good. Alright. We'll just let that cool for a second. So now what I want you guys to go ahead and do, wire cutters. Splice the cables, well, wires, on your controller ports, both sides, red and black on both sides. Best way I found to do it, take your lighter, just barely touch the tip to it, and then slide your wire cutters across it. Since that plastic is heated up, it will slide and break a little bit easier away. So, just a little tip there. So once we're done with that, go ahead and we'll move back to this real quick. What we want to go ahead and do is just cut off all of the legs, the extra legs here. So there's one. There's two. There is three. And that was four. So that's what we're left with. So, grab a different piece here, it's a little bit longer. We will go ahead now and slide the heat shrink over the end. You might have to bend it just a little bit to get it the way you want to go. There you have it. Go ahead and do the other side real quick. Oh, and before you actually get to this step, I tested the LED as soon as I took it out of the package. Make sure you test your LED with a 3 to 5 volt source. An old cell phone charger works perfect. So there you have it. There's the LED. We can go ahead and straighten that out. Set those off to the side. Alright, so we've got the two LEDs done. We have all 4 wires on our controller port spliced. Now we need the screwdriver. What we want to do now, the back of the heat shields. Make sure not to break the sides off. Stick your screwdriver down there a little bit. Oops. And bend them out. Now, 2 choices here. You can either leave that there. It's really not going to hurt anything. Depending on the version of your Xbox, I believe that 1.0s you might have to remove them. The rest of them you will not. However, I prefer to remove them. So, we just do that. We grab right at the seam. Bend it back and forth a little bit. It takes about 20 seconds. For some reason this one does not want to come off. Oh, there it starts to go. I guess grabbing it like this makes it a little bit easier. So that's what the back of your ports will look like now. So now what we want to go ahead and do, divide them up, negative to negative, positive to positive. And when it comes to this part here, I usually just dab a piece of hot glue over these tiny little connections and then just squeeze together with my fingers to make sure that the connection's completely covered. After soldering it, of course. So there we're just basically twisting our LED wire into the controller port wire. There we go. Alright. Go ahead and grab the other one. And actually, hold on. That wire is a bit too long. Alright. Now that we've got them all wired up, alright, we'll do these three first because that other positive connection's on the bottom. Alright. So now, grab your piece of solder. Again, heating up the wires first. Oh, 1 second. Smoke absorber. This plastic starts to stink if you melt a little bit of it. There we go. Alright, so we've got that side done. Now we can flip it over. I'm going to go ahead and cut myself off a little longer piece of solder there. Alright. Oh wow, that's really burning. Okay. That is what it looks like so far. Kind of a mess. All we're gonna do, we're just gonna tuck these on top of the wires that go into the controller port. You guys see that? Kinda. Alright, so now that we have that done, we go ahead, we take our glue gun, and try not to go all glue crazy either, because you don't want it running out the front of your controller port. We just want enough to keep it in place. And make sure you hold it in place too, because this glue takes a couple seconds to dry. More like 30 seconds, so. Yep, still a little loose there, so. It's a pretty easy job. It's really not too difficult. Minimal soldering skills required. So I got a pack of 100 LEDs off eBay for, it was like $6, $7. Package of 100 resistors for, it was $4. And so if you have any glue lines running, you can go ahead and pull those off. As you can see, we had no, I don't know if you can see that at all, no runs. So it's awesome. It's good. And now I'm going to go ahead and set the other one. Same place. Alright, so we got it in place. Again, don't go glue crazy. It's enough to get it in there and get it to stay. Still a little wet, so we gotta wait a minute. Alright, so it looks like we're good as far as that goes, so let's go ahead, just cover up very minimal amount of glue here. Yeah, that was kind of hot, not gonna lie. So there's those two. So we get that one first. Alright. So, if you've made it this far, congratulations. You only have one left to do. It's pretty simple, guys. Hardest part, honestly, is taking it apart. Get on the underside of that. Alright. That is it. So let's go ahead Grabbing a power cord real quick. That's it, guys. That's really all you got to do. And it just shut off because I have nothing plugged in, but you guys see it. Yeah. So anyways, that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned. More to come.